Are you always the one to work on your relationship and you've just like had it, like enough already? I'm only doing the work. They're just on their phone. They're busy. They're not even paying attention. Hello. We have an amazing show for you today. We have Ricki, who's an anonymous guest. She's masked. You don't know her name. You don't know her, whatever. And she's got a weird voice when she comes on. You will hear her talk about her marriage and very, very deep. We're going to go deep and find out what we can do about that. Stay tuned. Welcome to the Ladies Talk Show. This is your host, Leah Richheimer. We have a very special lady who came on today. And for those of you who don't know, in the Get Real show, we have somebody, it's a woman, it's a real live wife who we make up all her name, we make up her details about her life or whatever, and we synthesize. We have this big, it's about the size of a doormat, synthesizer with a million different buttons so that she sounds like the witness protection, what is that called? The witness protection plan. Anyway, she's coming on and we're gonna go really deep with her. You're fly on the wall of watching kind of like a little bit of a coaching session of how to, what is our Masorah for Shalom Bayis and how do you apply it in a real live situation? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Ricki. Ricki's married 17 years. Am I getting this right? And she's got 6 kids. Okay, good. And 6 kids. And she has, her issue is that so why am I always the one to work on the relationship? So her issue is she feels like she's working on, her husband feels like she's kind of, he said, it's selfish that you're working on the marriage because you are trying to change me or whatever. She'll explain a little bit better than I'm doing right now. But basically, the issue is that she has a lot of built up resentment because her husband isn't really, she doesn't feel like he's all in participating. He's a wonderful man. They have a great marriage. She's happy in the marriage. He's happy in the marriage. They're doing great, but there's these, this tension and this frustration and resentments that is built up over time. And she wants to know how to be the best wife and how to be motivated to be the best wife when you're so annoyed. Like when you're the only one doing it, how do you keep up the motivation? Am I explaining it correctly? And she's on a phone call. Ricki, am I?
Yeah, you got it. You got it just right.
Okay. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about what, maybe give us one example of what's something that is most troubling you that you wish that you could get on the other side of. That's what we'll try and work on that and other things hopefully in the course of the show.
Well, like for one part, listening to your lectures helped me realize a lot, like looking the other way, and not everything needs to be mentioned, which I'm trying to work on. I try to maintain equilibrium. And that's when my husband, when we had an argument about something, and I totally just like stay chilled, relax. I didn't like fight and scream and defend like I used to. And he was floored by it. He was taken aback. He's like, what happened to you? You're not the wife that I married. Why aren't you fighting back with me? It's no fun arguing anymore. And then that's when he said, when he was really upset over something, he was like, oh, it seems like you're just selfish. You're doing it for yourself because you want to feel good in the marriage. But you're not taking me into account, which I told him, I was like, I'm just going to ignore that comment. I know you're just hurt. And that's why he said that. But I guess that's because it's external when husbands do something. But my primary challenge lies in like when I feel the lack of oxygen and the love and the connection, and he gets very busy and I will run it across him. I feel like we could connect. Is there something I can do? And then he tells me, no, I know I've been out of it a little bit. I have been out of it, and he tries, but nothing really seems to click. And then I read it like after some time, I get fed up, and then I sort of like break down, and everything that I heard and everything that I listen and everything that I'm trying to work on goes out the window. Primarily when I feel like I don't have that love, like that love drives me to do more. And I guess my aim is how can I maintain that equilibrium and that simcha and still continue to want to work and improve on my marriage and give to him even when I feel that lack of connection and love. Because I know he's not doing it on purpose. He wants to, but sometimes like he's just so lost with everything else,
Totally get it. And also, I just want to explain something because it's something we talked about in the pre-show interview where you said that, you've had a game changer watching the Ladies Talk Show, which, got to feel a little bit of pats on the back, but, that was a game changer for you in terms of, that incident you were talking about where you were listening to him and you weren't jumping with him, you weren't fighting with him or whatever, that was a growth in yourself and working on yourself from watching some of the shows. And I really appreciate that. we don't take the time to pat ourselves on the back. We don't take the time to say, here's an accomplishment I had, or we will look for externally for someone to say, hey, great job. You're really improving or whatever. And those some subtle things like that, which are so deep and so internal and so much work that you've done on yourself. Right now, I just want to acknowledge you and have you understand, have you feel deeply the satisfaction of having made it up in your mind to do that and to actually accomplish it. So just want to start with giving you a trophy, kudos, great work. It's good. We will get farther, but so far so good. And you should feel very proud of yourself. And the thing about it right now, it sounds like, what's overshadowing feeling good about the work that you've done is like, it's not enough and it's not getting it didn't get you where you wanted to be in the first place. So like, well, thanks, Leah, for all the work I did. And I just poured it into nothing, which is never true, because even if it was nothing, God himself is taking notes on all of the work that you did, and you will get a merit for doing that and, for eternity. So you should just know that. But here's the thing. You talked about the fact that, you just feel like it builds up and builds up and builds up. My question for you is, have you mentioned that to your husband? Are you able to, you said you had good communication. I speak with a lot of people who say, no, I couldn't say that to him, and I would say it the wrong way, and I'm not good at communicating, whatever.
I'm going to tell you something that a lot of women probably sympathize with. When I did tell him, I feel like I need some extra love right now, or can you write me a note? I could use it right now. Or I really feel like you're just like I could use more of your attention. And he'd be like, oh, you told me, and I don't feel like it's special. But you told me to do it, and then it doesn't make me want to do it. And that's what I have that shows us. I'm like, I don't mention it. I mention it. I don't know which way to go. Which way should I spin in order to make it real to him? Because
fine.
It doesn't flow his boat.
I totally get it. Okay, so let me just tell you. This is Leah Richheimer. That's me. This is Marriage Secrets. This is 220 Torah sources on the bulletproof plan on how to have an awesome marriage. And I don't get any money for this. All the royalties go to help people in their marriages. So I can push it all I want. But I'm just saying, there's a whole chapter here on exactly what you're talking about, which is getting the appreciation you need and soliciting the love that a woman needs. A woman's a bottomless pit in needing that kind of appreciation and that kind of love and that kind of neediness, or whatever you want. Neediness has such a negative connotation. We don't have to use that word. And there's nothing wrong with being needy. That's how God created us. Thank you. Hello. I'm, a powerful woman. Okay. I'm powerful. Boom, boom. Okay. I'm powerful. I'm needy. I'm like, oh, I need this. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's been shamed. There's a shame war going on. You can't be needy. It's fine to be needy. But anyway, so here's the thing. It's how you say it, how you do it. It might be that you need to solicit. Your husband said, oh, if you tell me I need a note and I write a note, I'm not motivated to write the note. Like he is caught up in a completely erroneous idea, which is surprises. And it coming from his deep emotions are the only thing that's real. And it's not true. You need to somehow have a conversation with him, and you need to say, I get it. When I ask you for the kind of appreciation I need, or for a note, or I tell you I'm particularly needy or whatever, and you're giving it to me, that doesn't really work for you. So what can we do so that I get more of what I need, but it's not at your expense? You don't feel bad doing it, that you're motivated to do it. For me, if I say, write me a note, and you write me a note, I will be honest with you, dear husband. I love you very much, but that's maybe a B minus or a B or a B plus of filling my bucket of needing to be loved by you. Okay. It's not as good as when you spontaneously surprise me with a wonderful love note. That's fantastic. I love those. That's A plus plus plus. However, men are incapable. Listen carefully. Men are incapable, most men, and I won't make a big blanket, whatever, but most men are incapable for giving women the amount of love or the quantity of love or the type of love that they need. Women are too complicated, and it changes, right, Ricki? I mean, like one day you need them to really shower you with compliments, and the next day you want them to stay away. The next day, women are very complicated. So here's the thing that as women, we need to understand. The more we have buy-in from our husbands about how we're going to work this. Like for some husbands, it'll be like, I need a note. Can you write me a note? And that he's like, okay, writing you a note, I'm okay with. But when you tell me you need me to buy you a gift, it's like one more stupid thing on my to-do list that I have to do. And you're like, yeah, but I need more gifts. What do we do about that? And he'll say, I don't know. It's too bad. You're just too, whatever he says. You say, listen, I need more gifts. What do you think about this idea? When I see something and I'm shopping at, Target or I'm on Amazon or whatever, and I see something I want and it's, like I wouldn't buy it for myself because it's $18 or it's $27 or $4. It's too much of a budget and it's a stupid thing. It really doesn't fit into the budget. I'm going to buy it and I'm going to stick it in your closet or stick it under the bed or stick it in a shoebox or whatever. And you give the gifts, they'll be in there. And so when I say I need a gift, you fish through the gifts and you give me one. Would that...
I started doing that.
Oh, that's in the book. Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, so how did it go?
It's so funny because I told my husband, I was like, Rosh Hashanah 6 are coming up. I saw a necklace that I like. Can you check it out? I'll guide the lady. I'll tell her which one they like, and she'll give her the options. He's like, no, but it's like you already know what you're getting. I'm like, who cares? Whichever way, if you're gonna go in there, you're not gonna get what I like, or if I tell you, you're getting what I like, and I'm gonna be happy with it. And I told the lady what I liked. She packed it up. He paid for it. He took it, and he was very happy. And I was very happy. I got what I wanted.
Yay! Yeah, you got ladies. Do you understand this? No more green, purple, and orange polka dotted sweaters that you have to pretend you like. Okay, so this is just one of the aspects. There's like I think outlined 6 different ways, but there are many, many different ways. There's actually, Sari, don't we have shows on this or whatever?
Yes, there's a whole show on soliciting appreciation and the whole show covering this topic.
Yeah, so go look at www.ladiestalkshow.com and look up, a show called...
It's actually called Soliciting Appreciation.
Soliciting Appreciation.
And then how to get your husband...
She's got photographic memory or something?
Yeah, no, not photographic, but they go on. There's also a show about how to get your needs met. So it's all these
of those shows. Okay, so go watch those shows or Get Marriage Secrets, one or the other. So the issue is that it's trial and error. Also, you have to know your husband. For you, that worked, and it could be a year from now he's liking it, and a year from now he says, enough, I'm going to get you presents with it from my emotions and from my heart, and then you're going to wait 2 years for the next gift. So if he tries to backtrack on it, say, you know what, I don't know about you, this is so working for me. I love this setup that we have right now. Can we please keep it up? I know it might be not your ideal of what you think a husband should be, but this works and it makes me happy. And hopefully he'll buy into that. But there are other things.
Honestly, I feel like a lot of it comes from the expectation of the world we grew up in, the Geisha world, where, he surprises her with a gift and she's like, oh, it's beautiful. I learned the hard way a long time ago, get rid of the mind reading. Like he's not a mind reader. He doesn't know. And you just have to tell him, you know what I mean? Like spoon feeding is much better because you get what you want and everybody's happy at the end. And the expectations, it just doesn't last. It's not real.
It's fantastic. Well, the other thing also is that there are, different needs that a woman has. And you're saying that when you're having a deep conversation with you, so he wants to have arguments with you or whatever, and he said, you're being selfish, whatever, you need to spell it out for him and say, listen, I am... we've got callers asking questions. Okay, hold on 1 second. 1 second, Sari. Is that, sorry, I didn't see, she's trying to flag me down. Is that you have to say, I don't even remember what I was saying. About
the selfishness.
Yeah, about the self. You have to tell him, you have to say, look, you're right, but you and I are one neshama, we're one soul. And if it's selfish, if I do something selfish, it's to your benefit because we're the same. I want to tell you an amazing story.
I went, good one.
Yeah, isn't that gorgeous? I went to the Rav and I said to him, I said, listen, I light my Shabbos candles on Friday night and I light one for each of my kids. And I said, I now that I have, sons-in-law, I said, I feel like I really should want to light other candles for them because, their soul, I light one for each of my children and they should grow. And, and I in my prayers, and I really feel bad to exclude them. They feel like sons to me. You're going to fall off your chair when you hear what the Rav said to me. He said, Mrs. Richheimer, since the day your child was born and you've been lighting the candle for your daughters, since you've been lighting the candles, you've been lighting candles for your sons-in-law because they're one soul.
Wow.
I was like, oh my goodness, one soul. You've been lighting since they're born for him. So and now I continue to do it, so the point is that you have to understand your if he calls you selfish or says you're doing it just for you, saying you are me, I am you. Okay, let's take the questions. Go ahead, Sari.
So somebody is asking, meaning like, is it it's not, and I guess we get this from people a lot. Is it such a bad thing that like her husband wants to give her like gifts on or do stuff on his own? That's not, meaning I know that you always say a woman should be able to solicit so that this way she gets what she wants and with the things that she wants, right? She needs. But correct, needs. But people are saying, meaning if your husband is a giver and likes to give, aren't you going to sort of like knock that down?
This is a fluid situation. This has to be done in a conversation with your husband. If your husband is giving you he's meeting all your emotional needs, your physical needs, your spiritual needs, your Gashmi's needs are for things, you want this gadget and whatever it is that women, whatever your needs are. If he's fulfilling all of your needs or most of your needs, good, fine, you're done, nothing to do. What's there to talk about? Okay. For most women, what'd you say? Lucky lady.
Lucky lady.
If anyone who is watching has that, please send me an email. I want to know your secret. Okay. But here's the thing: is that for most women, their mom says something mean to them, and they feel badly, and and they tell their husband, and their husband says, what do you care? Like, I care. It's my mother. And she's just said another thing that kind of hurt my feelings, So men don't get it. So you need to tell men, listen, when I come and tell you that, what I hear, you said, well, don't think about it. I do think about it. So what do I do now? Please help me to process it in a way. Now, look, if it's something your mother said and your husband doesn't get it, it's kind of, he's a guy, for the most part, you need to get a girlfriend, okay? Or a sister, or somebody, call somebody. They will get it and they'll say, I can't believe they said that. They'll really, really be there for you in that emotional way that a woman needs, and a woman can understand, because a guy would just blow it off. Whereas, most guys, and I do a lot of mosts because it's just easier shorthand, but if it doesn't apply to you, don't worry about it. But here's the thing, that whether you, that crow is back. This huge crow. Oh my gosh, I wish I could turn the camera on.
No, he comes back for every show. By the way, it must be female crow.
Oh, really? Yeah, the ladies talk show. Hi. Yeah. I'm telling you, this crow is literally, it must be like 2 feet tall. He's looking right at me. This is the really weird. Hi, maybe it's some giggle. Hi. Anyway, okay, sorry about that. So anyway, I don't even know what was I talking about? Okay, so here's the thing. You've got to have a relationship, a conversation with your husband, and to get that emotional need met, and you need to teach him. A guy doesn't know. He doesn't even think like that. So you need to say, when I tell you something like my mom hurt my feelings, I don't need you to say, oh, just forget it. What I need you to say, and here, I will write it down on a Post-it note for you and tape it to your mirror, inside of your mirror so the kids don't see, whatever. I need you to say, oh, you poor thing, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And I said, yeah, but why should I have out of my mouth, you're telling me what to say. That's what I need you to say. Guys don't understand this. You need to explain it to them. Did you have something you want to say about it? Did that answer the lady's question?
Yeah, I mean, she's saying, yeah, for sure. I mean, all these things, end of day, all these things end up having to be a conversation, but the question is how to have that conversation in a way your husband hears it.
Right. So. Okay. Yeah. So that might take time. And I would bring your husband in on the conversation and say, listen, here's the thing. I just watched a show, or I just learned this thing, that a woman has lots of needs that a man just doesn't understand because he's not a woman. And why would he? And I realized that, wow, God created me this way, and he created you and you that way, and men this way, and wait, the other way around, women this way and men that way, right? He created this way. Why would he make it so weird that I have all these needs that you don't understand, right? Women just have this fantasy that a man is going to get them. Maybe it's social media, maybe it's a regular Western media, Western society, that they're going to, they don't. So we need to, and for every man, it's different. And a woman changes every 10 minutes. Okay. Why would God create that? Maybe God did it so that a woman would learn to be vulnerable and would learn to bring out her femininity, would learn to bring out in her husband the best parts of him. One of the things you had said, Ricki, in the pre-show interview is you don't feel like you're bringing out the best in him. And that's what we're trying to do here at the Ladies Talk Show, learn how not just to have you be closer in your relationship, how to bring out the best in your husband, and how to get those deep needs that we all have, how to get those deep needs met. And the first thing is to understanding what those needs are. So, okay, let's go back to, okay, she's got another question, but I'm just going to go back to Ricki for a second. Sorry, give me a second. Is that you had said one thing that kind of stuck out in my mind in our pre-show interview. You had said that one of the things that bothers you and frustrates you a lot about your husband is that he's hyper frugal. And, that he's generous sometimes when he really needs to be, and he's a wonderful man or whatever, but that character trait in your husband just drove you crazy, like insane. And the thing I told you in the pre-show interview, which I should have said here, because this is where I give advice. Pre-show interview is where I hear the problem, and here's where I give the solution. But what I said is that what you should do is, say, guess what? I got this, I went to 4 stores to get this shampoo. The shampoo was, $8, and I got it for $6.23. You know what I mean? Like to really show, right? To show him that you are so on team. Yes, you think it's a waste of your time. Yes, you think it's stupid. Yes, it annoys you in a deep sense because somebody who's so petty and cares about the 23 cents or whatever is annoying. Like you don't like people like that bothers you. But as the wife, or as the husband, but I'm just talking to women, as the wife, your number one job in your life is to bring things closer to your husband that's going to make him happy. I mean, it's your job. It's your whole avoda. And you say, Leah, what is that? Whatever. Ladies, this is a recipe for your own happiness, and it's guaranteed. Guaranteed. God gave us 3,000 years ago at Har Sinai. He gave us an exact course of action that will make us the happiest women on the planet Earth. Okay. And he didn't hide it from us. He told us exactly what to do. Actually, 220 Torah sources. He told us exactly what to do. And what I'm telling you right now, if you are able to explain to your husband what you need in a way that he can provide it, this is your happiness, and that is taking care of him. Okay, we're going to go to the question, then I want a question for Ricki. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, not question, but someone is commenting on Facebook that your husband might hear it as you trying to control his words. If you explain the way you were saying how you say back to your husband, he may hear it as you being controlling.
If you mean how you need to hear it, you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Great point. Brilliant. Thank you for bringing that up. If you hadn't done that, this show, we wouldn't given over the message correctly. So I'm really grateful to you. And here's the thing, what you need to say to your husband in that before you bark out the whole thing of your orders of what you want and writing down your what's it called when in a restaurant, the waitress takes your order, you have to say, listen, I don't want to be controlling. Really, but I don't know how to get my needs met any other way. If you can come up with a better way or a better idea of how to get my needs met, because that's your job, I'm trying to meet your needs as much as I can. I'm working on it, work in progress, but that has nothing to do with whether you're working on getting my needs met. And I need to get my needs met. How would you suggest that I do that in a way that works for you? That isn't saying, please make me a Post-it note. Tell me, dear, well, I don't know, and say, look, would it be better if I asked you for a Post-it note? Would it be if I sent a reminder by text so that I wasn't verbally asking you for what I need? Do you want to have like do you want to set up reminders on your phone? Don't forget to call my wife today to say hello. Some women, feel very badly if their husband doesn't call them in the middle of the day. But some women feel like, oh my gosh, he's so busy and whatever. And then he's going to interrupt me and whatever. And then to drop whatever I'm doing. I don't want him to call him in the middle of the day. Every woman has different needs. And again, they change over time. So if you're one of those people and you want him to call every day and you get frustrated, and at the end of the day, you're upset he didn't call, he doesn't really understand it. He's like, I got busy. Like, hello. Well, how are we going to make this so that works, so that you call me every day? Because I really need it. It really makes me feel like you're thinking about me during the day. Maybe try and get over it. Maybe that's one solution. But another idea is to say, okay, do you want me to put a Post-it on your steering wheel? So on your way home, you can call me. Or during lunch, do you want me to put it in your lunchbox? Do you want me to put a reminder on your phone? Or do you want me to help you to, or have you put them remind? Whatever it is, it's a conversation. It's a conversation that's dedicated to getting the wife's needs met, which is the husband's responsibility. If you want to do fair play, say, okay, what are some needs you have that you want from me? And what are some needs I have that I need from you? Maybe that's a way to do it. I don't like tit for tat and balancing and whatever. It's got a yucky feel to it. But a woman, it's not that a woman needs to demand getting her needs met. A woman needs to use her Bini Yisera, her women's intuition.
Yeah, her women's intuition.
To draw it out of her husband, to draw the best out.
Right, but I recall in our older classes that someone one time complained about the fact that their husband doesn't take them out on date night. They never asked them to go out on a date, and they really wanted date night, and so forth. And you had suggested that rather than waiting for their husband to take them out on date night, they should initiate date night, because it doesn't always have to be on him, and it could be something that they initiate, same for vacations, etc.
100%.
So in this situation, I mean, if a woman, let's say, wants her husband to call her during the day, can't she just be the one initiating? Meaning, can't she text him and say, hey, thinking of you, is it a good time to talk now? I'd love to say hi. Meaning, like, isn't there a way for a woman to be able to do something without, like, because I feel like putting it on my husband would he might do it for a few days, but he might sort of fall off the wagon, and then he'll just get frustrated again.
Yeah, no, 100%, Sarit.
Yeah, we have it all the time. I have the same problem. He'll start off like doing everything the way like I need, the way I asked him, and we're on the roll, and then it just falls off. He's like, it doesn't stick. I don't know why. He's like, I try my best. He's like, I commit myself for a few days, and then after that, like, he just sort of slacks off and he gets back to regular.
Sarit hit the key. We have many, many sources, like 14 sources that talk about how a woman, one could call it a nudge or a nagging, but it's not if it's with permission. So if you were to say to your husband, I know, let's use the example of calling in the day, whatever, but this can be used for anything. If you, I know that for you, it's hard. I know if you put a reminder on your phone, and I know if whatever, it somehow or other, after 3 or 5 days or a week, it's going to fall off. So I don't want to be a naggy wife. I don't want to be that one, but would it be okay with you if I texted you, just as Sarit said, I texted you and said, I could use a phone call sometime in the next hour if you're free? And he'll say, well, I'll feel like you're controlling me. And you say, okay, what's another good way of doing it so that my need is meant to be called? When you're putting it in his lap, it's not like him against you. It's like, this is our problem. We're one neshama, we're one soul. How do we solve this weird need that I have to talk to you sometime during the day, or to get flowers on Friday night, or to get a gift for my birthday, or whatever it is? How do we do that so that it's not on you? Because I don't know why God made men not able to, remember these things. Maybe it's because they're focused on their work, or they're focused on their phone or whatever. They're focused on something else, and they, but women, we feel it. We feel the lack. And so we know right away that we need something. And it makes sense for them not, but it makes sense, not that the woman's the alarm clock, but she's kind of the helpmate against him, the Ezer Kenegdo that is helping him to take care of her. Okay, yeah, go ahead with the question.
So until I got to your classes in your book, I was in denial with a lot of the things how I felt, feeling needy, wanting to feel loved, and wanting to give an attention to. And then eventually I was able to be like mature enough to say, I really need this from you. I really like that feeling of feeling loved and connected, etc. Right? And sometimes he would go back to me and he's like, is it normal? Like, it's not normal. You can't be so dependent and needy for me. And I'm like, you don't get it. It's not a physical need. It's an emotional feeling that makes you feel satiated and calm. and content. I'm like, sometimes when I feel like a relationship is not in place and we're not connecting, then like I don't have that, and he doesn't see it. He's like, I don't know if it's normal, Sarah. Like, it's not. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know what to tell him, because he doesn't understand it.
Newsflash. Hold on a sec. Newsflash. Okay. Newsflash.
Newsflash with the cheerleading pom-pom.
Newsflash. Okay. It is totally normal. You need to tell him it's normal. You need to tell him that we've been brainwashed by decades of independence. One of the highest qualities that in America that is like every media, every social media, every message that we're getting that filters into our brain is independence is the way to go. You want to be independent. You don't want to need anybody. I'm getting married out of choice, not out of need. I'm taking this job out of choice, not because I need it. Everything is independence and self-sufficiency. And, we're married because it's a good partnership. It is so wrong. And it's not a partnership. That's not a partnership. That's called, that's a business arrangement. In marriage and for women, there is a neediness. There's a neediness in men, but it's not this underlying drive of neediness. Interdependence is what the Torah teaches. That is where it is. That no one's better, no one's worse. The man is the king, the woman is the queen. Okay, so you could say, well, the king is better than the queen. There has to be a leader in the household, and we have a chazal. And in the secular thinking, if you're thinking about it, you're like, that's not fair. But people don't understand how giant a queen is. They just totally don't get the beauty, the strength, the power, the ability to accomplish that a queen is. They don't get it. It's a partnership, and they're equal. Even beyond equal. So it's actually women are better than men. No, I didn't say that. Cut that. Edit that out. Okay. So, but anyway, no. But here's the thing. These are all jokes. I could be taken out of context and. But
anyway, should I explain that to him based on what you said?
100%.
Obviously.
What'd you say?
Should I explain that to him? Like, there's a McCore for it and a Mr. Like, it's not just like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's not that you're a weakling and that you're vulnerable. It's that God made you needy for your husband. Needy. In your husband's job is to fulfill your emotional needs. If those grow over time, and you now have way more emotional needs, and you need to call you 5 times a day because you feel like you can't get through day without it. Maybe you should get therapy. Not you, as a person should get therapy or whatever, to try and strengthen themselves and to build their self-confidence and their self-esteem. I hear, but if that's your need, and you've been to therapy about it, and you can't do it, it's his job to call you 5 times a day. I'm just sorry. That's how he I had a couple, and the woman wanted 10 kids, but she couldn't take care of them. She hated feeding them. She hated, I've got to do the diapers. I've got to, it was too much for her. So she had, she needed help. She needed help in the house. They didn't have 10 kids. I think they had 1 kid, maybe 2. Anyway, we sent them to a rabbi, and the rabbi, heard the whole story. He heard her side. He heard his side. I was a fly on the wall there. I brought them to this room. And at the end of it, he turned to the husband and he goes, sorry, that's what God gave you. You gotta get some help for her. You gotta get a second job. You gotta do whatever. That's what she needs, So it is his job. Again, the wife has to tone down her needs as much as she can. She has to get her needs met by her friend circle. She has to, a family, whatever. She has to get support elsewhere to not be a burden and this heavy thing like.
Right, and healthy boundaries and limits, not like I'm saying a healthy boundary. It's normal to want to have a relationship. It's normal to want to feel that security and love from your spouse, right?
Exactly. There's a closeness.
Not to the point where you can't handle and manage through your day. Right. You are, but I'm just saying, like, that feeling is a real feeling. It's not in your head.
That's exactly it. And here's the problem. Women, anyone who's watching this, and any woman around the planet has been made to feel bad for feeling needy. vulnerability, that feeling like, people, a woman, she called me, this is maybe a month ago, so I might be getting the story all messed up, but basically she was saying when she goes to bed, she feels empty because she hits the pillow and like she has all this stuff she needs to tell her husband, and he says, I'm exhausted, I can't deal with it now. And then the next day comes and she has all this built up, stuff she wants to share with him, logistics and emotions and all this stuff, and he's completely shut down. So she goes to bed every night feeling that she's lonely and alone and not connected. And it's really, one could say, oh, her husband's terrible, blah, blah, blah. She needs to learn what her husband needs to be able to meet her needs. So when he says, oh, I'm just too exhausted, she needs to be able to say, okay, I get it. She said, you know what? I'm feeling really like I need to connect with you a little bit more. I'm feeling a little bit outside your circle or whatever. I know you can't feel it, you may not feel it because you're a guy and you probably don't even have a radar for this. When can we sit and have a good talk? Now, she has to realize it could be the reason he always shuts down and shuts her off and puts a wall between them. It could be because when she talks to him, she blames him for her miserable life. She blames him that the kid did poor in school. If he had learned with him and done the math homework with him and, whatever, it could be she's poor, that they're connecting time. She's handling it so poorly that he's just, okay, enough already, enough, I'm done, like that, whatever. So she has to apologize for that. And she has to make their conversations safe for him. It's very, very crucial. So she has a lot of work to do to be able to bring out the best in him. But it all happens through communication and trying to bring him in. You had said one thing in the pre-show interview that I wanted to pinpoint because I thought it was very important, and I thought it was important to understand. You had said, and you've got a question. Okay, hold on one second. I gave up trying to figure him out. You said that about your husband. So what I want to tell you, Ricki, or whoever you are, whatever you are.
Remind me again.
Yeah.
What you're talking about.
Yeah, you said I gave up trying to figure him out. And what I wanted to tell you is that that's a wife's job.
Oh, yeah.
It's a husband's job as well. I mean, a husband needs to figure his wife out, and good luck to him. Okay. Women are way too complicated, but your job is to figure him out. And if he comes home every day and you see that he comes home and he walks in and the kids all run to him and he's just like, and he does like that, then you need to sort of pay attention to that and say, guys, when daddy first walks in the door, he loves you guys very much. Give him a chance to walk in, put his stuff down, plug his phone in, take the change out of his pocket. Are you there? Oh, we lost her. Okay, let's see if we can get her back. Hold on a second. Okay, live show. Thank you. Welcome to
the technicalities of life.
Yeah, there you go. Live show.
And when also, by the way, just because I want Freed and Tested to know on Instagram that I am getting to her question. So when we get back on,
okay. I think we're on the show. I just think that.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm saying when our guest comes back.
Okay, good, fine. I hope we get her back, but this is so funny. Okay, all right. Well, maybe go with her question. I don't know how to bring her down. Okay,
Freed and Tested asked, what happens when the man is the emotional?
When the man's emotional?
Is the emotional one in the relationship.
Oh, that's adorable. Okay, hold on. What should I do now? I lost you. Don't hear you. I lost you. I don't hear you.
Hi, we can't get to the phone right now.
Oh, wait a second. Hold on. I was afraid they would say the name. We're trying to do this all anonymous. Okay, hold on. Let me try and let me call her again. Okay, next trying again. Okay, this works.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, good. We're taking a question from the audience while we have that interruption. Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Sari. Oh, yeah. What if the man who's the emotional one? Okay, fine. Actually, I get this question a lot. So here's the thing with the man that's an emotional one, and you need to kind of step up to the plate in a way that maybe you're not so familiar with or comfortable with. I don't know what maybe you can tell us what do you feel uncomfortable in conversations with him? or it just doesn't occur to you. So there's a difference. If it doesn't occur to you, then you need to tell your husband, oh, please do me a favor. And you can answer that question. Sarit will get it. If it's just that you don't think of it, you need to tell your husband, oh, listen, dear, I'm kind of oblivious. I'm busy getting things done and I'm working on my to-do list and I'm whatever. So when that is happening and you need me, you got to let me know. I'll try not to, I'll try and make time for it. It would be best if you didn't say, oh, can you drop everything right now? I'm feeling needy. It would be better for me if you said, oh, sometime in the next few hours or sometime or tonight, can we meet, and make an arrangement with them. We're hearing a lot of breathing. Ricki, I told Adam, it's like we're depriving our guests of oxygen.
Sorry.
It's just a very loud speakers we have. So that's the first thing. If you just don't think of it. If on the other, oh, okay. I don't know what's coming on. Okay, hold on. We're losing her. Okay. If on the other hand, let's just see.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Okay, now we hear you. Sorry, this has been very strange. If on the other hand, it's because you're uncomfortable with the conversations, that's going to be a bit more of a challenge. Did she answer, Sarit, whether she feels more uncomfortable or okay.
No, not yet.
Okay,
Not
but anyway,
yet.
I'm answering both of the ways it could potentially be. If it's because you're uncomfortable, you need to do some introspection. Like, are you afraid of having deep conversations because of your past dysfunctional patterns? Maybe you became vulnerable and you shared yourself with your mom or your sister or whatever, and they, every time you did that, they went right for the jugular and pushed your buttons and hurt you. So if you have some long-standing scars that are preventing you from having deep connections, you need to explore that and maybe work with a therapist or a clergy person, a rabbi, rebbitzin, somebody who you can meet with that will help you get over that. A therapist is probably well-trained for how communication issues, but there's also articles and books you can read on communication. And, I bet there's a book called, How to Talk When You Have a Hard Time Talking, or, but that's an issue you can work on. And I would tell that to your husband. And I would say, I know you're needy and I know, I'm not always there for you in the way that I should be there for you. I'm working on it. It's hard for me. I didn't grow up this way. I didn't grow up with understanding my emotions. It takes me a long time to process. People who are slow processors often don't realize it. Like some people can process something, they understand this, blah, blah, blah. So people who are slow processors don't even know what that would be like to be a fast processor. So they're kind of taking it in and absorbing it. And maybe a day later, it all clicks and comes together if they pay attention. If they don't, it just goes in one ear, out the other. So you have to know that about yourself. But the issue is working on that ability to connect and being able to communicate your inability to connect, your progress in being able to connect, and maybe even getting some help from your husband saying, when you start telling me what upsets you about what I did, all I feel is defensive. I feel like I'm being attacked. How do I avoid that? How do I hear what you have to say without getting upset or without feeling defensive? And your husband might say, oh, maybe when I say it, I'll say, don't get defensive about this. I'm just trying to make things better. Things are great the way they are. I'm just trying to bump us up a level and make us closer. Teach him how to work with you. That's it. Okay, let's go. You have a question?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say there's lots of hearts. So Ricki, a lot of people are definitely relating to this on Instagram. But someone on Facebook is asking, why during dating does this not exist? Meaning during dating, all your needs seem to get met and you're able to talk to him easily and whatever you need, you get. And then why suddenly, like, boom, you get married and everything goes south?
Fantastic question. Actually, we have a show on that. I don't remember what it's called. Do you know, Sarit? Anyway, the show is a bit. So here's the thing. I'm going to answer it right now. Is that during the dating process, that we have sources for this, that God kind of puts this beautiful bubble and cloud and sunshine coming in. And cloud is bad, right? So, I'm just saying, like a surrounded by goodness and whatever, you see the good. You've got, you're seeing all the beauty in the relationship and all the potential in the relationship. Then you get married, and a few months later, right, he leaves his socks on the pillow, and he eats a whole meal, and everything's on the table, and he doesn't clean one dish. Life hits. Okay, that's where the real work for closeness comes to be. The beginning closeness where it's all sunshine and beautiful, that's kind of manufactured. We have a source for this. It's gorgeous, saying that Hashem, God makes a beautiful bubble so that you'll end up getting married. Because if you saw all the stuff before marriage, nobody would, the population would go way down. Nobody would get married.
Actually, the poem princess on Instagram said, because the game chase is over.
That's it. Now you're talking. That's adorable. Oh, the poem princess. So, okay. So here's the thing that you have to understand, that you have a bubble of beauty, then the work starts. But here's the thing, the closeness that existed when that bubble was there is like this. Okay. Yeah, it's very nice. Oh, I love you. I love you too. Whatever. It's like this. After he starts doing the things, and he sweeps, and then after he sweeps, you're like, oh, can you sweep? He said, I just did. Hello. Oh, I didn't notice. Anyway, after you go through that together, right? The closeness gets like this, like this, like this. Okay. That work is what makes you closer. And so just stay tuned. It's going to get better. You have to work on it, and you have to communicate about it. Okay, Ricki, we only have a few minutes left. I want to find out, what else in your relationship would you like to work on right now?
Well, the biggest factor is when I do feel that how to continuously keep on giving, even when I don't feel like my needs are met. And
even when what?
When I feel like my needs are not met, or I'm upset.
When your bucket is empty. I've got my bucket over there. I should bring it here. I will. Anyway, when your bucket is empty, you don't have the strength anymore to give to him.
Right.
I hear. It's a problem.
Right.
So what do you think the solution is? They say you've read Marriage Secrets, and you've done a lot of the homework. What do you think the answer would be?
Well, I like what you said. It's not a business partnership. It's a commitment that I'm in my marriage and we're one soul, we're one unit. And even if I may feel like this, it's not I, me, my needs, and you, yours. I did my part. I did for you, and now you do for me. It's not a tit for tat type of thing. It's sort of like trying to mature my outlook on marriage as a whole and just seeing the bigger picture. That's what I'm thinking.
Awesome. Wow. That's pretty good. That's very
I have a lot of growing up to do maturity wise, because I feel like a lot of my expectations in marriage, unfortunately, are coming from the secular world of what I've seen, what I've read maybe, or what I've heard. And it's totally not in line with everything that you've been teaching. It's subconsciously, even the things that I say, the things that I do, the things that I expect. I realized, I told my husband after we've had so many arguments going back and forth, I'm like, there has to be an end to this. I'm like, there has to be a Torah way. It can't be that it's so normal to always argue. There has to be a Torah way that when we argue, we can maintain that respect for each other, and we can maintain that I still love you and you still mean the world to me type of thing. You know what I mean? It's all external, and it shouldn't impact our relationship. You know what I mean?
100%. That's of maturity. I had a woman who her husband did things that really bugged her. And when he did them, so then she just disappeared. Now it's okay, it's time for dinner. And she would put the food down or whatever, and she wouldn't come sit at the table. Every incident became this whole big drama, because she didn't realize what a marriage is, what a wife is that all this stuff happens and is thrown at you, and you're like, whatever, it's going 24/7, but you still sit down to dinner together. You still, here's your lunch that you need, or here's the, can you move, you turn to him, can you please move my car to the other side of the street, or can you go get me gas? Or I'm making all these kind of
drama is definitely the right word.
Yeah. It's drama, whatever. But it's saying, when these things happen, if you are able to maintain that equilibrium, and we talked about, a man is a rock, you know what I mean? He's a rock, and you just stay that even keel. You go through all of the motions as normal. He's done something that you resent, that's upsetting or whatever. 2 seconds later, a kid comes in and he says, why did you do that? And he starts screaming off his head, because you were talking about he's a lot more lectury than you are.
Oh, yeah.
Drives you crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So when he's doing that, your job as the wife is realize, I think I'm right that the kid needs XYZ. He thinks they need ABC, right? Why would God make it that there's a man who's a little bit harsh, a little bit gruff, a little bit whatever. And then there's a woman who's a little bit softer. Oh dear, why did you need, maybe the woman's the one who's screaming. I don't know, whatever. But, there's a partnership in how to raise those kids. Women are so positive they're right. And for the last 50 years, psychologists and whatever have been building and building. And everything's sort of like, you need to take the feminine part of a man out to interact with the kids. And the woman is the perfect understanding and the motherly whatever, and it's all driven towards that. I don't know that we should be following that example exactly. It's like the father is the, a little bit more, he's the rock, and the thing about a rock is, and women who, they're always saying to their husband, oh, why'd you tell him that? And you didn't, be softer and be more feminine and be more soft with them and, whatever. And they're pushing this. And then the kid turns into a teenager and is a holy terror. And for the last decade, the wife has been pushing out the masculine side of him and trying to bring out the feminine side of him. And then when they're teenagers, when they need that strength, they need the rock while their brain has left their body. Okay. When they become teenagers, now the rock has been completely washed away by the wife. Oh, you can see the back of it. It's like one of those things. A woman they've been completely washed away, the rock. And now the teenager just is all over the place. So I'm just saying that we think we're right. We think we're smarter than men. We think we know exactly. And look, we have a woman's intuition, the subtleties, whatever, in terms of that, but we're not right about everything. And what we think we can provide, if God wanted women to just, we're so good at it, and everything we have to give is what the kid needs to hear, he wouldn't have given us the husband. He would have said, okay, women, be what are those seahorses that can have babies themselves, whatever, you know what I mean? God made it so that there's a masculine and a feminine, and women have been bolstered in their ability to, or their wrong thinking to think that only the feminine is needed. So I would rethink a lot of your philosophies of parenting and start opening your eyes to what your husband brings to the table, because it's not just what your husband brings to the table. It's what God meant for your children to get through your husband. And if he's lecturing them, give him more time to lecture and say, dinner was supposed to be ready at 6, but I see that your father needs to talk to you. So we're having dinner is 6:30, or do you need a half an hour to lecture them, or you need an hour? Okay, dinner's at 7 now. You bolster him and grow him. There are exceptions. There are abusive situations. There's mentally health problems I'm talking about a normal situation where a woman is really cutting off her husband's influence and his effect on raising the children. Meanwhile, piling more stress, you have those days you can't move your neck. It's because you're taking on both jobs. Let him do his job, bolster him in doing his job. You do your job. You want to be soft, or you can't go afterward and say, I don't think daddy meant to be so harsh. No, that's called disloyalty. And your number one job as a wife is to be loyal to your husband. It could be afterwards you say, I think when you were speaking with Moishla, you were a little bit harsh with him. Maybe, do you mind taking him out for, I need some stuff at the grocery store. Maybe take him on a special trip with daddy. Like that. That's using your intuition. That's using your heart. But again, that's totally supporting your husband at the same time. We have
Leah, somebody on Torah Anytime live stream is asking about initiating. If a wife always initiates, it can be really annoying. Why can't they just do it, especially if it's important? Meaning, if it's important to the husband, why does it always have to be the wife initiating?
Good question. Hold on a second. Excuse me, God. Excuse me, why does it always have to be the woman initiating? Why did you make it this way? Please explain, okay? We don't get it. It's like it's a lot of work and I'm tired from it, Okay, I don't know. I don't know why the woman has to initiate, but I'll tell you one thing. When she does, her happiness quotient goes through the roof. This is, mark my words, this is guaranteed. This is the way God made us. Just do it. Keep initiating. It may take a month. It may take a year. It may take 10 years or whatever. But for him to be able to do more, he's never going to be the initiator. And in the relationship kind of things, he doesn't even have a radar for it. Okay. But even though it might take years to get fruition from him or him altering a little or understanding more, your happiness immediately, the second you start initiating more and more and more, instead of saying, why am I always the one to work on the relationship? When you're like, okay, I'm going to be the one to work on the relationship. Let's go. Now your happiness begins. Okay, we're out of time. I'm so grateful to you, Ricki. You brought up issues that I think everybody is feeling in their marriages. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Sarit, any last thing? We're going to be off the air. Oh, you're on mute.
No, yeah, I am muted. But no, I mean, we're going to be up there. It's like 5 more minutes. But somebody just basically just said, which I think it is an important thing on Facebook, said that it seems like there's a rise in divorce lately. And like she said, it seems like so much of our view of what marriage is supposed to be is based on what we see sometimes that is fake closeness between a husband and wife. You see this couple and they look so happy. And then, a few months later, you hear they're getting divorced and you're like, what? They were just, on their Instagram, lovey-dovey, and she was professing her love and blah, 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 blah. So I think that's, like she was saying, like Ricki was saying, so much of how her expectations are from the outside world, and it's all seeped in, sadly, into our world.
Yeah, it's very well said. Yeah, no, it's true. And here's one overriding thing. You already know what I'm about to tell you, but which is that the heartfelt feelings that you feel for your relationship, your partner, your husband, and if you're single or divorced or whatever, the feelings that you want to have, and God willing, we'll hope to have soon, those feelings are what you need to focus on. When you're focusing on the outside, again, you already know this, it just affects you in such a negative way. And depression rates from people who are, do social media, who are like on 7 hours a day or 3 hours, whatever it is, for half an hour. People who do, the more social media you do, the more dissatisfied you are with your life. So except for the ladies talk show, which strengthens you, but everything else is just a picture of what, from the outside, how it looks. And the focus shouldn't be on that. The focus should be on that connectedness that you feel and that you want to feel. And that's done through communication and sharing with your husband and soliciting that appreciation. Okay, thank you very much for being with us, everybody. This is Leah Richheimer for the Ladies Talk Show, and we'll see you next time. Do you want a daily dose of inspiration? If you type in below and send them their email address, you will get every day a words of inspiration to get you through your day and to strengthen you and to change your attitude and get you in a whole different place. Try it. I'm telling you, you're going to love it.